Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Adam Pearce is currently the general manager of WWE Raw, but his recent hints on social media have taken the internet by storm. This happened after the 46-year-old star posted a photo of himself with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar together. The reason this photo has sparked curiosity among fans is that the Beast Incarnate has been absent from the Stamford-based promotion for a long time. Furthermore, Paul Heyman has yet to appear on TV since being attacked by the solo Sikoa faction. With the OG bloodline needing a fifth member as an ally for their side in the War Games match, and time running out quickly, many believe that Brock Lesnar could be a potential choice due to his past relationship with Roman Wiseman. Amid all this speculation, Adam Pearce's cryptic photo on X/Twitter has led many fans to believe that the mayor of Suplex City might soon be returning to WWE. It's possible that Pearce could be the one trying to convince Lesnar to make his comeback and join the OG bloodline for the double ring structured match. This could be done under the instruction of Nick Aldis, who reportedly wants Roman Reigns' faction to have a final member. This is to ensure that the War Games match remains balanced and doesn't give one team a clear advantage. In seeking a final member, Pearce might reach out to Lesnar and persuade him to side with the original tribal chief. This angle could also help WWE delay Paul Heyman's return for a few more weeks, ultimately generating more interest in his comeback. On the latest episode of SmackDown, Roman Reigns attempted to contact his special counsel but failed to reach him. While the scenario remains unlikely to unfold despite the potential hints, Adam Pearce dropping clues about Brock Lesnar's return has left fans eager to see how the storyline develops. Also, only time will tell whether the Beast Incarnate make his return for Survivor Series, War Games 2024 or not. Brock Lesnar isn't the only WWE star about whom Adam Pearce posted today. Cryptically, not only has Brock Lesnar been the subject of much speculation, but Adam Pearce has also posted multiple cryptic updates on his official X account. It all started earlier today when the Raw GM shared a photo featuring Mick Foley confronting Seth Rollins on the entrance ramp. The image also includes Adam Pearce, who is seen staring at both men. In addition, Pearce posted another photo showing himself and WWE star Big E engaged in a backstage conversation. As of this writing, his latest post features former WWE stars The Revival, seemingly at the Performance Center alongside the Raw GM. All these cryptic posts are notably without any captions, leaving fans wondering whether they hint at something significant or are simply designed to boost audience engagement. The backstage area of the WWE Raw arena buzzed with energy. Wrestlers, producers, and staff moved with purpose, but Adam Pearce had a different mission. In his hand was a contract, and in his heart was a plan. The Bloodline storyline had reached new levels of chaos. Roman Reigns' absence had left a power vacuum, Solo Sikoa was questioning his loyalties, and Paul Heyman's influence seemed to wane. The remaining members needed a unifying force, someone who could bring the OG bloodline back to life. Pearce knew there was only one man who could fill that role, a 47-year-old legend whose name had not been uttered in WWE for years, Rikishi. Pearce had worked through countless scenarios before arriving at Rikishi's doorstep. The Samoan dynasty's patriarch had retired comfortably, focusing on family and mentoring young wrestlers. Convincing him to step back into the ring, especially under the bright lights and intense drama of WWE, would be no small feat. A chance meeting Pearce arrived at a nondescript training facility in Los Angeles, where Rikishi often trained young talents. The setting was intimate and understated, far removed from the glitz of WWE's arenas. Inside, Rikishi was teaching a group of wide-eyed students how to execute the Samoan drop. Even in his 40s, his presence was commanding. After the students dispersed, Pearce approached him. "Rikishi," Pearce started, extending a hand. "It's been a while." Rikishi smirked. "Adam Pearce, the man who somehow keeps this crazy circus running. What brings you here?" Pearce took a deep breath. "I have a proposition. The Bloodline needs you." The legend raised an eyebrow. "The Bloodline, huh?" Roman's running the show. What could he possibly need me for? Roman's not running anything right now, Pearce said, the weight of the situation evident in his tone. He's been absent, and things are falling apart. Solo's loyalty is in question. Jimmy and Jay? They're barely on speaking terms. Paul Heyman's magic isn't working anymore. The bloodline isn't what it used to be. But you could bring it back together. The subtle hint. Rikishi leaned back against the ropes, his expression unreadable. And you think I'm the guy to fix it? Adam, I've done my time. I've given everything to this business. I know, Pearce replied, his voice steady. But this isn't just about you. It's about your legacy. The Usos are struggling, Rikishi. They've lost their way. Solo is desperate for guidance. You were the foundation of this family. The original bloodline. Without you, there might not even be a bloodline today. Rikishi's eyes narrowed. You're playing the legacy card, huh? Smart move. But what's really in it for me? I'm not strapping on a thong and dancing my way to the ring again. Pearce chuckled. I'm not asking you to. This isn't about nostalgia. It's about leadership. It's about being the anchor the bloodline needs right now. Roman's not here to lead. You can be the glue that holds them together until he returns. The reluctant Rikishi paced the ring, his massive frame moving with surprising agility. I see what you're doing, Adam. But let me tell you something, family business is messy. You think a few promos and a match or two will fix what's broken between those boys? It's deeper than that. Pearce nodded. I don't doubt that. But you've never shied away from messy, Rikishi. You've always faced it head-on. That's what makes you the perfect choice. You've walked in their shoes. You know what it's like to be torn between loyalty and ambition. You can show them the path forward. The legend stopped pacing and stared directly at Pearce. And what happens if I fail? What happens if I come back and it doesn't work? Pearce held his gaze. Then you'll have done everything you could for your family. But I don't think you'll fail. I think you're exactly what they need. And deep down, I think you know it too. The turning point to conversation lingered in Rikishi's mind long after Pearce left. That night, he watched old matches of his sons, Jimmy and Jay, rising through the ranks of WWE. He saw Solo's debut, his fierce intensity reminiscent of Rikishi himself. Then he pulled up a match of his own from 2000, where he had stood tall in the ring, the crowd chanting his name. Rikishi knew Pearce was right. The bloodline was more than a storyline, it was a legacy. And legacies needed to be protected, even if it meant stepping out of his comfort zone. The return a week later, SmackDown opened with an unexpected sight. The Usos were in the ring, embroiled in yet another heated argument. Solo stood silently in a corner, his expression unreadable, while Paul Heyman desperately tried to mediate. Suddenly, the arena went dark. The sound of a car engine revving echoed through the speakers, followed by the unmistakable opening beats of Rikishi's iconic theme music. The crowd erupted as the WWE Hall of Famer appeared at the top of the ramp, dressed in a sleek Samoan-inspired suit. Rikishi walked to the ring with purpose, his presence commanding the attention of everyone inside the arena. When he stepped through the ropes, the tension was palpable. Enough! Rikishi's voice boomed. This isn't how we do things. This isn't the bloodline I raised. The Usos looked at their father, their expressions a mix of surprise and guilt. Solo's stoic demeanor cracked ever so slightly, a flicker of respect in his eyes. Even Paul Heyman seemed at a loss for words. I'm here because this family needs to remember who we are, Rikishi continued. We are warriors. We are united. And we don't let anything or anyone tear us apart. The crowd roared their approval, sensing the shift in the bloodline's dynamic. The fallout backstage, Pearce watched the scene unfold on a monitor, a small smile of satisfaction on his face. He had taken a gamble, and it had paid off. Rikishi's return was exactly what the bloodline needed, a reminder of their roots and a chance to rebuild. In the weeks that followed, Rikishi became a cornerstone of the storyline. He didn't wrestle, but his presence was felt in every promo and segment. He served as a mentor to Solo, a mediator for the Usos, and a counterbalance to Heyman's manipulations. The subtle hint Pearce had planted, tying Rikishi's return to the preservation of his legacy, proved to be the key. For Rikishi, it wasn't just about stepping back into the spotlight. It was about ensuring the bloodline story continued, stronger than ever. And for WWE fans, it was a reminder that in the world of wrestling, family truly is everything. 3 reasons why Paul Heyman could betray Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns received another setback in the closing moments of last week's SmackDown. The OTC tried to call Paul Heyman only to find out that the Wiseman's phone was out of service. Several theories have tried to explain the peculiarity. The most obvious is Solo Sikoa destroying Heyman's phone on SmackDown during Reigns' hiatus after WrestleMania XL. However, a more popular and intriguing explanation suggests that the Hall of Famer has left Roman Reigns' side or is preparing to do the same. On that note, we propose 3 potential reasons or motivations for Paul Heyman's betrayal of Roman Reigns. 3. Paul Heyman is upset with Roman Reigns for not saving him. The Wiseman endured a lot during the OTC's hiatus following WrestleMania XL. Against Heyman's advice, Solo Sikoa called the shots for the family and enlisted dangerous members, the Tongans and Jacob Fatu, to the bloodline. Heyman begged Sikoa to mend his ways, but the street champion forced his way to the pinnacle of the family. The WWE Hall of Famer met a devastating fate when he refused to acknowledge Sikoa as the tribal chief on the June 28, 2024 edition of SmackDown. The bloodline viciously assaulted Heyman, sending him crashing through the announce table. Throughout his trials and tribulations, Heyman was all alone. Roman Reigns didn't save his Wiseman, who had played a crucial role in his record-setting run. The Hall of Famer could have felt betrayed. Hence, he may have cut off all ties with the OTC. 2. The original tribal chief is no longer the same man. Roman Reigns didn't appoint Paul Heyman as his special counsel for no reason. The Wiseman is a cunning individual with a mind for the wrestling business. He knows where to cash his checks, and for the past several years, Reigns was the answer. Unfortunately, the OTC is going through a rough and vulnerable phase. Reigns lost the undisputed WWE title at WrestleMania, and Solo Sikoa has taken his place as the tribal chief. Watching him beaten down and laid out in the ring is no longer rare. Therefore, the cunning Heyman may no longer see much value in sticking by Reigns' side. The former Universal Champion has lost much of his aura and championship privileges, which could have long-term implications for the Wiseman. 1. The final boss wants the Wiseman. Paul Heyman had 2 mobile phones. One was solely used for communication with the OTC, but the other was seldom utilized. A second phone was used to call The Rock during the road to WrestleMania XL. The significance of this observation lies in Sikoa's destruction of the phone used to communicate with Reigns. The second phone still allowed him to maintain contact with the final boss, who could be calling the shots behind the scenes and pulling Sikoa's strings. The Great One made an astounding return at Bad Blood last month and sent a message to Reigns, but he could send a more powerful statement by stealing Heyman. Heyman was Reigns' mastermind for a reason. Remove the Wiseman from the equation, and the OTC becomes more vulnerable. The wrestling world thrives on suspense, drama, and betrayal, with Paul Heyman often at the center of some of the most compelling narratives. The wise man of the bloodline, Paul Heyman, has stood by Roman Reigns throughout his historic Universal Championship reign, elevating the tribal chief's dominance to legendary heights. However, cracks in the bloodline's foundation have left fans speculating whether Heyman's loyalty to Reigns could falter. Adding intrigue is Adam Pearce, the WWE official who has clashed with Reigns and his faction numerous times. Could an alliance between Heyman and Pearce shake the foundations of SmackDown? Here are 3 reasons why Paul Heyman might betray Roman Reigns for Adam Pearce. 1. Survival instinct. Heyman's legacy over loyalty. Paul Heyman is a master strategist who prioritizes survival above all else. With the Bloodline's internal chaos, stemming from Jey Uso's departure, Jimmy Uso's betrayal, and Solo Sikoa's wavering loyalty, Heyman might perceive Roman Reigns as a sinking ship. Historically, Heyman has never hesitated to abandon wrestlers when their dominance fades. Consider his past betrayals of Brock Lesnar. When Lesnar's control over the WWE landscape waned, Heyman shifted alliances to more promising prospects. This pattern suggests that Heyman sees himself as the real architect of greatness. As Roman's tribal empire crumbles, Heyman might view aligning with Adam Pearce as an opportunity to secure his influence. Pearce, as WWE's on-screen authority figure, has significant sway over match bookings and championship opportunities. A partnership with Pearce could offer Heyman a new avenue to build and manage a fresh stable of superstars. Instead of clinging to a fractured bloodline, Heyman could align with Pearce to remain at the center of power, crafting new legacies. 2. Heyman's grudge against Reigns' ego. For years, Roman Reigns has been portrayed as the tribal chief who demands absolute loyalty, but his leadership style often borders on tyrannical. Heyman, despite being the wise man, frequently finds himself belittled or dismissed by Reigns during bloodline segments. Roman's infamous catchphrase, "Acknowledge me," underscores his need for subservience, leaving little room for Heyman's creative input to shine. Behind the scenes, Paul Heyman thrives when he's treated as an equal partner in storytelling. Adam Pearce, on the other hand, has displayed a knack for collaborative leadership on screen, often engaging superstars and managers in meaningful dialogue. If Heyman grows weary of Roman's ego-driven rule, he might see Pearce as a more balanced ally. The storyline possibilities here are electrifying. Imagine Heyman orchestrating a power play where he helps Pearce recruit disgruntled superstars who feel slighted by Reigns. The WWE roster is full of talent waiting for their shot. Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, and even Seth Rollins could rally behind Heyman's expertise. This rebellion could culminate in a war for control of SmackDown, with Heyman pulling the strings behind Pearce's authority. 3. The bigger picture, elevating a new star. Paul Heyman is not just a manager, he is a kingmaker. His alliances with wrestlers like Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns have turned them into household names. However, Heyman's loyalty is often driven by his desire to mold the next big thing in WWE. With Roman Reigns already cemented as a legend, Heyman might shift his focus to building a new superstar under Pearce's guidance. Adam Pearce's position as WWE's authority figure makes him an ideal partner for such a venture. Together, Heyman and Pearce could handpick and mentor a rising star who embodies the future of WWE. This could be a towering rookie, a returning veteran, or even a wild card like Gunther, the dominant Intercontinental Champion. Heyman's betrayal of Roman could signify a passing of the torch, as he champions a fresh face poised to dethrone the tribal chief. The alliance between Heyman and Pearce could also serve as a commentary on the state of WWE. For years, fans have debated the over-reliance on Roman Reigns' dominance. By turning on Reigns, Heyman could symbolize a push for change, aligning with Pearce to usher in a new era. This storyline would not only elevate Pearce's role but also provide WWE with endless creative directions as Heyman becomes the mastermind of tomorrow's top stars. Potential fallout: if Paul Heyman betrays Roman Reigns and aligns with Adam Pearce, the ramifications would ripple across WWE. 1. Roman's downfall. Roman Reigns losing Heyman's guidance would leave him vulnerable, both strategically and emotionally. The tribal chief's aura is built on his dominance and cunning, much of which stems from Heyman's influence. A betrayal could strip Roman of his mystique, forcing him to rely solely on his in-ring abilities. This could set up a redemption arc where Roman has to rebuild himself without the crutch of the bloodline or Heyman's counsel. 2. Adam Pearce's power surge. Aligning with Paul Heyman would catapult Adam Pearce from a background authority figure to a central player in WWE's main event scene. Fans have often viewed Pearce as a neutral figure, but a partnership with Heyman could give him a more dynamic role. Pearce could leverage Heyman's expertise to reshape the championship landscape, creating alliances and rivalries that reinvigorate WWE programming. 3. Solo Sikoa's dilemma. As the enforcer of the bloodline, Solo Sikoa has always been loyal to Roman Reigns. However, Heyman's betrayal could force Solo to question his allegiance. Would Solo side with Heyman, the man who helped shape his rise, or stay loyal to his family? This internal conflict could add depth to Solo's character, setting the stage for a potential breakout as a solo competitor. Conclusion: Paul Heyman's potential betrayal of Roman Reigns to align with Adam Pearce would be a game-changing twist in WWE storytelling. Motivated by survival, disdain for Roman's ego, and the desire to elevate new talent, Heyman could find a compelling ally in Pearce. This storyline has the potential to redefine SmackDown, positioning Pearce as a major player and introducing fresh rivalries that captivate fans. Whether this betrayal happens in the coming months or remains a tantalizing possibility, one thing is certain: Paul Heyman's next move will leave an indelible mark on WWE. After all, in the world of professional wrestling, alliances are fleeting, but Paul Heyman's legacy as a master manipulator is eternal. Paul Heyman may have betrayed Roman Reigns for huge WWE star ahead of Survivor Series, says analyst. Despite Roman Reigns' return to television at SummerSlam 2024, his Wiseman, WWE Hall of Famer Paul Heyman, remained absent. Last Friday, the original tribal chief failed to reach his Wiseman when he called the 59-year-old on SmackDown, leading to speculations that Heyman may have betrayed his OG bloodline leader for another top superstar. WWE analyst Sam Roberts recently addressed that theory. The legendary manager has been absent from television since June 2024, when the new bloodline destroyed him for refusing to acknowledge Solo Sikoa as his tribal chief. As the OG bloodline struggled to find a fifth man for the upcoming War Games match against Solo and company at Survivor Series, War Games, Reigns called Heyman last Friday. However, Paul's number was out of service. On his Not Sam Wrestling podcast, Roberts discussed whether the 59-year-old legend might have turned on the former undisputed WWE Universal Champion to align with The Rock. The 41-year-old analyst did not rule out the possibility of that happening, stating that it was a credible theory. What happened to the Rock phone? Is the Roman Reigns phone out of service because Paul Heyman is now exclusively using the Rock phone, he said. And if Paul Heyman is exclusively using the Rock phone and following orders of the real tribal chief in his mind, the final boss, does that mean we will see Paul Heyman back, but he will be on the side of Solo Sikoa's bloodline under the orders of the Rock? There's nothing about this theory that is not credible. 2340 to 2400 hours 17. The WWE analyst does not believe Paul Heyman is working with The Rock after acknowledging that Paul Heyman could currently be on The Rock's side against Roman Reigns. Sam Roberts pointed out that the proposed scenario would mean that the Wiseman was either convinced to join forces with the final boss after getting beaten up by the new bloodline, or his destruction was part of a plan to derail the OG bloodline. Meanwhile, the 41-year-old explained that he did not believe in that scenario. He predicted that Heyman's phone reserved for the Great One was still working, but the WWE Hall of Famer might have canceled the plan. While everything can add up, you can tell this story, and it can all be credible. For me, I think Paul Heyman still has his Rock phone because you never know. I think that while that Rock phone may still be active, I don't think he's canceled the plan. I don't think the number is out of service, but I don't think he's using that phone, he said. 24:44-25:21. Roberts explained why Heyman had disconnected his number to prevent Reigns from reaching him on the same edition of his Not Sam Wrestling podcast. Sam claimed the Wiseman was hurt because the original tribal chief broke his heart. The wrestling world is abuzz with speculation following a controversial analysis suggesting that Paul Heyman, the master strategist and the voice behind Roman Reigns' dominant reign, may have betrayed the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. The alleged betrayal comes at a pivotal time as Survivor Series looms on the horizon, threatening to shift the landscape of the WWE forever. The Bloodline's fragility. For 3 years, Roman Reigns has sat atop the WWE mountain, dominating all challengers and cementing his legacy as the Tribal Chief. With Heyman by his side, the duo turned the Bloodline faction into an unstoppable force, crushing opponents like Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and Drew McIntyre. However, cracks in the Bloodline have become glaringly evident in recent months. The departures of Jimmy and Jey Uso from the faction, Solo Sikoa's growing independence, and Reigns' extended absences have left the group vulnerable. Analysts believe that Heyman, ever the opportunist, may be seeking to align himself with a fresher, more promising star to secure his own position in WWE's ever-changing hierarchy. A new alliance in the making? Prominent WWE analyst and insider Brad Shepard recently hinted that Paul Heyman might have brokered a deal with a huge WWE star to betray Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. Though Heyman has not publicly addressed these rumors, fans are already speculating about who this star could be. 3 names stand out as potential candidates for Heyman's alleged betrayal. 1. Cody Rhodes. The American Nightmare has been gunning for Reigns since his loss at WrestleMania 39. A shocking partnership with Heyman could add another layer to their rivalry. 2. Solo Sikoa. Reigns' enforcer has shown signs of defiance, and with Heyman in his corner, Sikoa could finally break free from Reigns' shadow and claim the mantle of Tribal Chief for himself. 3. Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion and leader of Imperium, has been touted as the next big thing in WWE. Heyman's expertise could propel Gunther into the Universal Championship picture. The Survivor Series setup. Survivor Series is set to feature a blockbuster War Games match with the Bloodline facing a yet-to-be-named team of rivals. Roman Reigns, expected to lead his faction, is reportedly scheduled to return to SmackDown a week before the pay-per-view. However, many believe that Heyman's betrayal could come during this high-stakes match, turning the tide against Reigns when he least expects it. If the rumors are true, Heyman could orchestrate an ambush involving his new client, laying waste to Reigns and leaving fans in utter shock. Paul Heyman, the master manipulator. Heyman's history of betrayal is well documented. From turning on Brock Lesnar to aligning himself with CM Punk, he has proven time and again that his loyalty lies only with power. For Heyman, aligning with Roman Reigns was a masterstroke. Reigns was already a dominant force, but with Heyman amplifying his presence, he became the most must-see act in professional wrestling. But as the saying goes, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Analysts argue that Heyman may feel that Reigns' dominance is waning. With injuries and internal conflict weakening the Bloodline, Heyman could see this as the perfect opportunity to jump ship. How Roman Reigns could respond should Heyman betray Roman Reigns, the aftermath could be explosive. Reigns, known for his calculated aggression, would likely seek revenge. A betrayal of this magnitude would also provide WWE with the perfect setup for a massive WrestleMania 40 storyline, potentially pitting Reigns against Heyman's new client in a match for the ages. Moreover, this betrayal could force Reigns to rethink his approach. Without Heyman's guidance, Reigns might have to embrace his roots as a solo competitor, or perhaps reconcile with his estranged cousins, the Usos, to rebuild the Bloodline. Fan reaction and speculation. Fans are divided on the potential betrayal. Some believe it's time for Heyman to move on, arguing that his act with Reigns has grown stale. Others, however, see Heyman's partnership with Reigns as one of the greatest manager-wrestler duos in WWE history and would be devastated by a split. Social media is flooded with theories, with fans pointing out subtle clues from recent episodes of SmackDown. For instance, Heyman's cryptic expressions during Reigns' interactions with Solo Sikoa have not gone unnoticed. Similarly, Heyman's conspicuous absence during key moments has fueled speculation about his loyalty. The bigger picture. WWE has always excelled at telling long-term stories, and this potential betrayal could be the next chapter in the Bloodline saga. Survivor Series could mark the beginning of the end for Roman Reigns' historic title reign, paving the way for a new era in WWE. The addition of a new Heyman guy, especially someone as dominant as Gunther or as charismatic as Cody Rhodes, could elevate WWE's storytelling to new heights. Furthermore, it would keep fans engaged, wondering how Reigns will reclaim his throne and whether the bloodline can ever be rebuilt. Conclusion: as Survivor Series approaches, the possibility of Paul Heyman betraying Roman Reigns looms large. Whether these rumors turn out to be true or not, one thing is certain: WWE is gearing up for a seismic shift. Heyman's potential betrayal, coupled with the introduction of a new powerhouse, could redefine the dynamics of WWE's main event scene. For now, fans can only watch and speculate, knowing that in the world of professional wrestling, nothing is off limits. And as always, Paul Heyman remains one step ahead, leaving everyone guessing until the final moment. Adam Pearce teases 12-time WWE Champion's blockbuster return after 984 days. Adam Pearce recently dropped a tease regarding a former WWE Champion's highly anticipated return, who hasn't been seen in over 2 years. Big E has been rumored to make an appearance soon for the New Day's 10th anniversary. Back on March 11, 2022, the 38-year-old suffered a cervical spine injury during his match that put him on the shelf. Since then, he hasn't returned to the ring, and fans have been wondering if he would ever lace up his boots again. Big E has made it clear that though his condition is better, stepping inside the ring could still be risky. As WWE gears up for the New Day's 10th anniversary special Raw episode, as promised by Adam Pearce, it has led to speculation about Big E possibly joining Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods for the momentous occasion. A few hours back, the Raw GM took to X/Twitter to drop a massive tease about Big E's return. He shared a throwback picture of himself with the former WWE champion. In addition to the WWE Championship, Big E has been the Intercontinental Champion once and has had multiple tag title runs with Kofi and Xavier Woods, the New Day. If this wasn't enough, USA Network, the home to Raw, also dropped a comment on Pearce's X post, meaning there could be more rumors about the New Day member's potential return. Kofi Kingston also wants Big E to return to WWE. A couple of days back in an interview, Kofi Kingston also expressed his desire to see his New Day stablemate join him and Xavier Woods in the celebrations. He stated that it wouldn't feel right to hold a celebration to honor the stable without Big E being on their side, as he's been a part of their group since day one. However, Kingston did acknowledge that the 38-year-old was occupied outside WWE. "I don't think that we can have a New Day celebration without Big E there. It wouldn't feel right. It wouldn't taste right, you know? So I'm hoping he's available. But like I said, man, he's busy doing a lot of things out there. I don't know what his schedule is gonna look like, but hopefully he will be there. It would feel incomplete if he was not involved in the New Day 10-year anniversary in some way," he said. It remains to be seen what the Stamford-based promotion has in store, as there's no doubt seeing Big E could make a lot of his fans emotional. The WWE Universe erupted into speculation and excitement when Adam Pearce, WWE's current on-screen authority figure, dropped a tantalizing tease about a 12-time world champion's long-awaited return. It had been 984 days since this enigmatic superstar last stepped into a WWE ring, leaving fans clamoring for their comeback. With Survivor Series just around the corner, the timing of Pearce's cryptic announcement seemed anything but coincidental. The announcement that set WWE ablaze. During an otherwise routine segment on Monday Night Raw, Adam Pearce stood in the center of the ring with a knowing smirk. As the general manager of Raw, Pearce had earned a reputation for being a straight shooter, but tonight, he was in full showman mode. "This is a special announcement," Pearce began, his voice echoing through the sold-out arena. "In 13 days, Survivor Series will be live, and trust me when I say, history will be made. A certain legend who hasn't been seen in a WWE ring for 984 days might just be ready to come back." The crowd erupted into a frenzy. Chants of "We want Cena" and "Randy, Randy" filled the arena. Pearce let the reaction simmer before continuing, clearly relishing the moment. "I can't confirm who, where, or how just yet," he added coyly, "but let's just say, champions don't stay away forever." Social media speculation within minutes of Pearce's announcement. WWE social media platforms were ablaze with theories. The most prominent names circulating were John Cena and Randy Orton. Both were 12-time WWE champions in their own right and hadn't been full-time competitors for years. John Cena, now a Hollywood A-lister, last competed at WrestleMania 39 in a losing effort against Austin Theory. While Cena had sporadic appearances since then, his days as a full-time wrestler seemed far behind him. Randy Orton, on the other hand, had been out of action due to a career-threatening back injury. The Viper's absence left a gaping hole in the roster, with fans and peers alike wondering if he'd ever return. The mystery deepens later that night. Pearce posted an ambiguous tweet that only fueled the fire. While WWE superstars often teased returns for promotional purposes, this felt different. Pearce's demeanor and the specific mention of 984 days pointed to something monumental. Backstage sources leaked that Pearce had been in talks with Triple H and other WWE executives about elevating Survivor Series to a new level. Survivor Series, traditionally a battle of brand supremacy, had evolved into one of WWE's most unpredictable nights of the year. Adding a returning legend to the mix could potentially make it the most talked-about event of 2024. The locker room reacts backstage on Raw. Superstars were abuzz. Seth Rollins, the reigning World Heavyweight Champion, was seen giving cryptic interviews to WWE's digital team. "Whoever Pearce is teasing, they'd better be ready," Rollins said. "This is my era now. No legend is going to walk back in and take my spotlight." Other superstars, like Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn, expressed more excitement than trepidation. "I grew up watching some of these guys," Zayn said during a post-Raw interview. "If someone like Cena or Orton is coming back, it's only going to make us all step our game up." The return of the Apex Predator? While Cena's potential return dominated headlines, Randy Orton's name carried equal, if not more, intrigue. Reports had circulated for months that Orton had been training for a comeback. The Viper had remained tight-lipped about his status, but his father, WWE Hall of Famer Bob Orton, recently hinted that Randy was feeling better than ever. A 984-day absence aligned closely with Orton's last match, which was on Friday Night SmackDown in May 2022. Partnering with Matt Riddle as RK-Bro, Orton suffered a brutal beatdown at the hands of the Bloodline, writing him off television due to his severe back injuries. Survivor Series hype intensifies. The WWE Universe's anticipation reached a boiling point when Survivor Series' official poster was revealed. A silhouetted figure loomed in the background, shrouded in shadows but unmistakably carrying an air of familiarity. Fans dissected every pixel, with many convinced the silhouette was Randy Orton's iconic pose. Adding fuel to the fire, Paul Heyman appeared on SmackDown later that week, delivering an ominous warning. "If the past thinks it can come back and haunt the Bloodline," Heyman said, "then it's about to find out that this is Roman Reigns' era, and legends are nothing but footnotes." Heyman's cryptic words seemed to reference Orton's history with Reigns. The Viper and the Tribal Chief had crossed paths multiple times, with Orton once holding a pinfall victory over Reigns early in his career. A clash between the two would undoubtedly headline any event. The countdown begins with Survivor Series only days away. Pearce stoked the flames one last time during the go-home episode of Raw. In a dramatic closing segment, he walked to the ring holding a contract. "This contract," Pearce declared, holding it up, "belongs to one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time. And next Saturday, at Survivor Series, they will make their return." The crowd erupted, and Pearce exited the ring without another word, leaving fans and superstars alike in suspense. The big reveal: Survivor Series finally arrived, and Chicago's Allstate Arena was electric. The night featured incredible matches, including Seth Rollins defending his title against Gunther and the Judgment Day battling Cody Rhodes' team in a War Games match. But the most anticipated moment came when Pearce stepped onto the stage before the main event. "It's time," Pearce announced, his voice shaking with emotion. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back a 12-time world champion, the Viper, Randy Orton." The arena exploded in cheers as Orton's iconic theme, "Voices," hit the speakers. Orton stepped onto the stage, looking leaner and more focused than ever. Dressed in his signature gear, he soaked in the adoration from the fans, visibly moved. Orton wasted no time making his intentions clear. After cutting a fiery promo about reclaiming his spot at the top, he declared his entry into the Royal Rumble, promising to headline WrestleMania 41. But before he could finish, Roman Reigns' music interrupted him. The Tribal Chief emerged, flanked by Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. The tension between Reigns and Orton was palpable as they stared each other down. "This is my house now," Reigns growled, stepping into the ring. "You should have stayed gone." Orton smirked, stepping nose-to-nose with Reigns. "The apex predator doesn't ask for permission. I take what's mine." The show ended with a chaotic brawl, setting the stage for what promised to be an unforgettable rivalry. Conclusion: Adam Pearce's tease turned out to be the perfect setup for Randy Orton's monumental return after 984 days. With Orton targeting both Reigns and the Royal Rumble, the WWE landscape was about to change dramatically. For fans, the message was clear: the Viper was back, and he was hungrier than ever. 6 feet 2 inches retired WWE star teases being the 5th mystery member of the OG Bloodline at Survivor Series. War Games: The OG Bloodline's hunt for its 5th member continues as WWE Survivor Series War Games fast approaches. The Usos and Sami Zayn have reached out to several names backstage, but no one seems interested in teaming with Roman Reigns due to their issues in the past. However, one such name being brought up by fans lately is 6 feet 2 inches Raw General Manager Adam Pearce. The 46-year-old star has been retired from in-ring competition for almost a decade. As is often the case with many retired wrestlers, the scrap iron couldn't stay true to his retirement. The 5-time NWA World Champion had been forced to step back inside the squared circle quite a few times in the past. Back in 2021, Roman Reigns pulled some strings to book Adam Pearce in a gauntlet match to determine his challenger. The WWE official wrestled the original Tribal Chief on the January 22nd episode of SmackDown, which ended in a no contest after Kevin Owens attacked the OG Bloodline member. Pearce was once again put in a storyline between Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon, prompting him to team with the monster of all monsters in a losing effort against the Hurt Business for the Raw Tag Team Championship. Earlier today, an X, formerly Twitter, user asked Adam Pearce if he could be the 5th member of the OG Bloodline for the War Games match on November 30th. The Raw General Manager simply responded by posting a thinking face emoji. Adam Pearce on if he's open to WWE in-ring return. In an interview with Chaotic Good Sports, Adam Pearce said he would lace up his boots again if the WWE creative asked him to. The Raw General Manager, however, ruled out the possibility of wrestling full-time. "Listen, if the time comes and they say, 'Hey, we need you to have a match, brother,' I will get my hands dirty. I got my hands dirty last night with Bronson Reed a little bit, you know what I mean? I am certainly capable, but am I looking to do that, particularly on a full-time basis? Hell no. I'm good. I'm good just telling people it is official," he said. Adam Pearce was recently at loggerheads with SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis, leading fans to believe the two men might wrestle each other at Survivor Series War Games this year. Survivor Series War Games was fast approaching, and the buzz around the event had reached a fever pitch. The event promised brutal matches, shifting alliances, and shocking surprises, but no storyline captured the WWE Universe's imagination quite like the reformation of the OG Bloodline. The Bloodline had splintered over the past year, with Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Solo Sikoa embroiled in bitter feuds that threatened to dismantle the dynasty for good. However, whispers of reconciliation emerged when Paul Heyman teased that Roman had a game-changing announcement for Survivor Series. Speculation grew when WWE social media platforms posted cryptic videos of ancestral Samoan warriors, with the tagline, "The Bloodline isn't finished. The foundation remains strong." But the real twist came during a surprise interview with a 6 feet 2 inches retired WWE star, Shawn Malakai, a former ally of Roman Reigns and an integral part of his early dominance in WWE. The teased WWE Universe was left reeling when Shawn Malachi made an unannounced appearance on the bump. Now sporting a silver streak in his jet black hair and an aura of mystery, Malachi had been keeping a low profile since his retirement 4 years ago. But his words during the interview hinted at something big. "I hear people saying the bloodline is falling apart," Malachi began, a sly grin on his face. "But let me remind everyone, blood runs thicker than egos. Sometimes, you need to go back to your roots to rebuild the empire." When pressed about his sudden involvement in the storyline, Malachi leaned back in his chair, his expression unreadable. "Let's just say the bloodline has always been about family. And family doesn't forget. Survivor Series is war games, and war requires soldiers who know the battlefield. Maybe there's room for one more warrior in the ring." Fans erupted online, dissecting every word. Shawn Malachi was known for his physicality and brutal in-ring style, often likened to a younger Batista during his prime. Could this retired powerhouse really be returning for one last run? The Bloodline's internal conflict backstage segments on SmackDown continued to fuel speculation. Roman Reigns, frustrated with his cousins, Jimmy and Jay, for their inability to fall in line, declared that the Bloodline needed a reset. Solo Sikoa, ever the silent enforcer, stood stoically beside Roman but occasionally exchanged knowing glances with Paul Heyman. "You think this is the end of the bloodline?" Roman bellowed into the camera during a fiery promo. "You don't know what I've sacrificed, what we've sacrificed, to build this dynasty. At Survivor Series, we're stepping into war games, and I promise you, I've got the ultimate ace up my sleeve." Fans speculated endlessly about Roman's ace. Would The Rock make his long-awaited return? Was this the moment for Jacob Fatu, the dominant Samoan wrestler, to debut in WWE? Or could Malachi truly be the surprise fifth member? Malachi's history with the Bloodline. The speculation gained even more traction when WWE aired a vignette during Monday Night Raw that recapped Malachi's history with the Samoan dynasty. Clips from a decade ago showed Malachi standing shoulder to shoulder with a younger Roman Reigns and the Usos. Back then, Malachi was part of a faction called Samoan Legacy, a short-lived but impactful group that dominated tag team and six-man matches. Malachi was a mentor figure to the group, teaching Roman the art of psychological warfare and how to weaponize his family bond. The vignette ended with Malachi's voiceover, "Dynasties don't crumble overnight. They rebuild. And sometimes, it takes a warrior who's been through the fire to light the way back." The WWE Universe was convinced. Survivor Series, War Games would see Shawn Malachi return as the fifth member of the OG Bloodline. Survivor Series, War Games. The night of Survivor Series arrived, and the War Games match was set as the main event. On one side, the fractured Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and Solo Sikoa. On the other, their bitter rivals, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. The rules of War Games dictated that each team member would enter the cage in staggered intervals, with the mystery fifth member of the Bloodline slated to enter last. The match was already brutal when the time for the Bloodline's final entrant arrived. The arena went dark, and the screen flickered to life with images of Samoan warriors preparing for battle. A deep, gravelly voice echoed through the arena, "Blood is eternal." And tonight, the Bloodline rises once more. The crowd erupted as Shawn Malachi's music hit, a tribal-inspired theme remixed with heavy guitar riffs. Malachi appeared on the stage, his 6 feet 2 inches framed silhouetted against a wall of fire. Dressed in Samoan battle gear, complete with tribal face paint, he exuded an intimidating presence. The Battle Malachi entered the cage with a purpose, immediately turning the tide for the Bloodline. His brutal strikes and power moves dismantled Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, while his years of experience allowed him to counter LA Knight's explosive offense. The most dramatic moment came when Malachi confronted Sami Zayn, a former honorary member of the Bloodline. The two stared each other down, the tension palpable. Then, in a shocking twist, Malachi extended his hand, only to pull Sami into a devastating Samoan spike. Malachi has chosen his side. Michael Cole exclaimed on commentary. The OG bloodline is back in full force. Aftermath. With Malakai's help, the bloodline secured a narrow victory, but the aftermath of the match hinted at even bigger storylines. As the team celebrated, Malakai took the mic and addressed the WWE Universe. The bloodline isn't just about one man or one era, he declared, his voice filled with conviction. It's about legacy. Roman, Solo, Jimmy, Jay, we've fought, we've bled, and we've broken apart. But tonight, we proved that family can overcome anything. Yet, his words didn't sit well with everyone. Jey Uso visibly bristled at Malakai's commanding tone, while Jimmy exchanged wary glances with Solo. Roman, ever the strategist, simply smirked, as if he knew the seeds of a new power struggle had already been planted. The fallout from Survivor Series set the stage for months of storytelling. Malakai's presence breathed new life into the bloodline storyline, creating intriguing dynamics. Roman versus Malakai. While Roman appreciated Malakai's help, he couldn't ignore the threat of another alpha in the group. Could Malakai eventually challenge Roman's position as tribal chief? The Usos' rebellion, Jimmy and Jay's growing resentment toward Malakai hinted at an eventual split. Would they side with their longtime ally, or turn against him in a bid for independence? Solo's loyalty, as always, Solo Sikoa remained the wild card. His respect for Malakai was evident, but where would his loyalty lie if push came to shove? Conclusion. Shawn Malakai's surprise return at Survivor Series War Games was a masterstroke of storytelling, seamlessly blending nostalgia, family drama, and high-stakes action. His involvement not only solidified the OG bloodline but also set the stage for one of WWE's most compelling storylines in years. The question now wasn't just about the bloodline's survival, it was about who would ultimately emerge as the true leader of the dynasty. And with Malakai in the mix, the battle for supremacy had only just begun. Paul Heyman to return to WWE and betray Roman Reigns instantly, says veteran, exclusive. Paul Heyman's absence has been felt in WWE over the past several months. While he will probably return sooner rather than later, a veteran thinks he will not be allying with Roman Reigns. Reigns was recently seen trying to contact Paul Heyman, but to no avail. This has led to much speculation about the Wiseman's true intentions. Hall of Fame journalist Bill Apter thinks that Heyman's return may not be beneficial for the original tribal chief. On Sportskeeda Wrestling's Unscripted, Apter talked about how Heyman could be inclined to join Solo Sikoa's side when he comes back, despite being attacked by him before in WWE. I think Paul Heyman, storyline-wise, changed the phone number. And I think the man who has that phone number is Solo Sikoa. This is pro wrestling, you never know what's going to happen. Maybe the Wiseman has wised up and he is now going to support the Solo Sikoa tribal chief part of the bloodline. 522 onwards. For now, fans will have to stay tuned to see what Paul Heyman plans to do when he eventually comes back to WWE. In a stunning twist that has the wrestling world buzzing, Paul Heyman, the wise man to Roman Reigns and a cornerstone of WWE storytelling for years, is reportedly set to make a sensational return. But according to an industry veteran, Heyman's comeback will be anything but business as usual. Instead of reuniting with the tribal chief, the legendary advocate could shockingly betray Roman Reigns the moment he steps back into the WWE spotlight. This exclusive rumor has sparked heated debates among fans and insiders alike. What would drive Heyman to turn on the man who has been the face of WWE for nearly 4 years? And how would this betrayal reshape the landscape of WWE's power hierarchy? The rise and fall of the bloodline. To understand the magnitude of such a betrayal, it's important to revisit the dynamic between Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. When Reigns returned at SummerSlam 2020 with a darker, more ruthless persona, Heyman's alliance with him became the backbone of the bloodline storyline. The union revitalized Reigns' career and helped him dominate as Universal Champion, cementing his position as one of WWE's all-time greats. But the bloodline's empire has been crumbling. Jimmy and Jey Uso's rebellion fractured the faction. Solo Sikoa's loyalty is under scrutiny, and Reigns himself has taken an extended hiatus, leaving the SmackDown locker room in chaos. Heyman, who thrives in moments of uncertainty, has been notably absent during this tumultuous time. Now, as whispers of his return grow louder, one question looms large: whose side will Heyman be on? A veteran's perspective. In an exclusive interview with Sportskeeda Wrestling, former WWE manager Dutch Mantell weighed in on the potential storyline. Known for his sharp insights and understanding of wrestling psychology, Mantell didn't mince words. Paul Heyman's return could be one of the biggest moments in WWE history if done right, Mantell said. But let me tell you, I don't see him coming back to play second fiddle to Roman Reigns anymore. Heyman has always been about power and influence, and right now, Roman is vulnerable. If Heyman comes back, I think he'll betray Roman instantly. Mantell explained that Heyman's character thrives on aligning with whoever holds the most potential for dominance. With Reigns' aura of invincibility fading, Mantell believes Heyman may seek out a new protege, someone younger, hungrier, and willing to follow his lead without question. There's always been a power struggle within the bloodline, even if it wasn't obvious. Heyman sees the writing on the wall. He's too smart to go down with a sinking ship, Mantell added. Who could replace Roman? If Heyman does betray Roman Reigns, the next logical question is, who will he side with? Several names have been floated as potential candidates, each bringing a unique dynamic to a partnership with Heyman. 1. Solo Sikoa. As the enforcer of the bloodline, Solo Sikoa has shown flashes of rebellion and ambition. Heyman could manipulate Solo into believing he's the true heir to the Samoan dynasty. With Heyman's guidance, Solo could step out of Reigns' shadow and carve his own path to greatness. 2. Braun Breaker. The powerhouse from NXT is one of WWE's fastest rising stars. Aligning with Heyman would catapult Breaker into the main event scene and provide him with the credibility needed to challenge Reigns directly. Heyman's history of turning rookies into legends, see Brock Lesnar, makes this pairing a tantalizing prospect. 3. Cody Rhodes. In a shocking swerve, Heyman could align with Cody Rhodes, the man who nearly dethroned Reigns at WrestleMania 39. This partnership would send shockwaves through the WWE universe and add a new layer of complexity to Rhodes' quest to finish his story. The betrayal scene. If WWE goes through with this storyline, the betrayal itself must be executed with maximum impact. Here's a possible scenario. Roman Reigns returns to SmackDown after weeks of absence, addressing the bloodline's recent failures and reasserting his dominance. As Reigns speaks, Paul Heyman's music hits, and the crowd erupts in a mix of shock and anticipation. Heyman walks down the ramp, clutching a microphone, his face unreadable. I have served as the wise man to the tribal chief, Heyman begins, his voice trembling with emotion. But even the wisest men know when it's time to move on. Reigns looks stunned as Heyman drops to one knee, seemingly reaffirming his loyalty. But in a split second, Solo Sikoa blindsides Reigns with a Samoan spike. The audience gasps as Heyman smirks, revealing his true allegiance. You were the tribal chief, Roman, Heyman says coldly. But your time is over. The segment ends with Solo standing tall over a fallen Reigns, holding the Universal Championship aloft as Heyman applauds. The betrayal is complete, and a new era begins. Fallout and implications. The fallout from such a betrayal would be monumental. Reigns, once untouchable, would suddenly find himself isolated and vulnerable. A feud between Reigns and Solo, with Heyman pulling the strings, would dominate WWE programming for months and culminate in a blockbuster match at WrestleMania 41. For Heyman, this betrayal would solidify his status as the ultimate opportunist. His legacy as a master manipulator would grow even further, and his new alliance would have the potential to reshape WWE's main event scene. As for Reigns, this betrayal could serve as the catalyst for a long-awaited face turn. Stripped of his allies and title, Reigns would have to rebuild himself from the ground up, earning the respect and adoration of fans in the process. Fan reactions. The possibility of Heyman betraying Reigns has already divided the WWE universe. Some fans are excited about the potential for fresh storylines, while others feel the Bloodline saga deserves a more traditional ending. Heyman turning on Roman would be epic, one fan tweeted. It's the perfect way to pass the torch to Solo or someone new. I'd rather see the bloodline reconciled than fall apart completely, another fan wrote. Heyman and Reigns are magic together. Why ruin that? Conclusion. Paul Heyman's potential return and betrayal of Roman Reigns could mark a seismic shift in WWE storytelling. With the Bloodline's foundation already weakened, Heyman's actions could shatter the faction entirely and pave the way for a new era of WWE dominance. Whether fans love or hate the idea, one thing is certain: if Paul Heyman turns on Roman Reigns, it will be a moment no one will ever forget. WWE sends cryptic Roman Reigns message ahead of SmackDown, teases potential blockbuster return. Roman Reigns bounced back against the Bloodline following his reunion with Sami Zayn and the Usos. However, Solo Sikoa and his troops have always been one step ahead of the original tribal chief. While the OG Bloodline was busy searching for the fifth member for their match at War Games, Sikoa introduced Big Bronson Reed as his partner. Last week's SmackDown shocked the fans. While Bronson Reed's addition to the Bloodline was a massive surprise in itself, the show's ending made a number of headlines as well. Roman Reigns tried calling Paul Heyman during the last few minutes of the episode, but the Wiseman's number was not in service. With the next episode of SmackDown on the horizon, WWE's X/Twitter handle has sent out a cryptic message on Twitter. The Stamford-based company posted a picture from the segment where Reigns called Heyman, seemingly teasing the Wiseman's massive return to TV. Will Paul Heyman turn on Roman Reigns following his return? With his phone number no longer in service, the WWE Universe has been anticipating Paul Heyman's switch of sides following his return. While the Wiseman has been aligned with Roman Reigns over the past few years, turning on the original tribal chief to align with Solo Sikoa and potentially The Rock would be a massive twist. While Heyman's return date can still not be confirmed, it is clear that the 59-year-old will be back on TV soon. With War Games approaching fast, a return before the Survivor Series could make a huge impact on the highly anticipated match between the Bloodlines. Paul Heyman betraying Reigns, given the massive twists and turns WWE has featured in the Bloodline story, is quite a possibility. The Stamford-based company might keep it reserved for some time before pulling the trigger to make headlines around the globe. The road to WWE SmackDown took an intriguing turn this week as the company released a mysterious social media teaser featuring Roman Reigns. In true WWE fashion, the cryptic message set the wrestling world abuzz with speculation about a potential blockbuster return that could shake the foundations of Friday Night SmackDown. The teaser that sparked frenzy, the message, shared on WWE's official social platforms, was short but impactful. A shadowy image of Roman Reigns standing in the center of the ring was accompanied by the words, "The tribal chief will face his greatest test. Are you ready?" Adding to the mystique, the teaser video included clips of Reigns' dominant moments as Universal Champion, juxtaposed with flashes of past icons like The Rock, John Cena, and even CM Punk. The video ended with the date of the upcoming SmackDown episode, leaving fans and analysts speculating about what could be in store. Roman Reigns' absence. Roman Reigns has been largely absent from WWE programming since his grueling match at SummerSlam, where he retained his title but not without controversy. Solo Sikoa's interference had divided the Bloodline even further, with Jey Uso walking out of WWE altogether and Jimmy Uso appearing conflicted about his loyalty. While Reigns has been off-screen, Paul Heyman has kept the Bloodline narrative alive, cryptically hinting at a new chapter during recent SmackDown episodes. This week's teasers seemed to align with Heyman's comments, suggesting that Reigns' return could bring seismic changes to the Blue brand. Speculation runs wild. The teaser has left fans with a plethora of theories. Here are some of the most discussed possibilities. 1. The Rock returns with Survivor Series around the corner and rumors of The Rock wanting one last match. Many believe the cryptic message could be teasing a long-awaited showdown between Reigns and his cousin. The Rock's involvement would be monumental, especially given the unresolved head-of-the-table storyline that has lingered in the background of the Bloodline saga. 2. A new challenger emerges. Some fans speculate that the teaser could signal the debut or return of a major star to challenge Roman Reigns. Names like Randy Orton, Braun Strowman, or even former WWE Champion Drew McIntyre have been thrown into the mix. 3. The bloodline implodes further. Another popular theory is that the greatest test refers to an internal threat. Could Solo Sikoa finally turn on Roman Reigns? Or could Jimmy USO decide to align with an outsider to dismantle the bloodline once and for all? 4. CM Punk's shocking return. The inclusion of CM Punk's image in the teaser video has reignited speculation about his potential return to WWE. While Punk's relationship with the company has been tumultuous, recent interviews suggest that fences may have been mended. A feud between Punk and Reigns would be a dream scenario for many fans. Paul Heyman's role. Paul Heyman, the ever-manipulative wise man, has been unusually vocal in hyping Reigns' eventual return. On this week's The Bump, Heyman dropped several cryptic hints of his own, saying, "Roman Reigns is not just coming back to SmackDown. He's coming back to rewrite history. Legends will tremble, alliances will crumble, and empires will fall." Heyman's words have only fueled speculation about a massive shakeup in the bloodline dynamic or the arrival of a significant opponent. What could this mean for SmackDown? If the teaser is indeed heralding a blockbuster return or storyline development, it could serve as a turning point for SmackDown's narrative. The show has thrived under Roman Reigns' reign, with the bloodline storyline often being the centerpiece. However, fan interest in the ongoing saga has seen slight dips in recent months, especially with the absence of major players like Jey Uso and Roman Reigns himself. A dramatic return or a high-stakes feud could reinvigorate the blue brand, pulling in both casual viewers and hardcore fans. Potential fallout. The fallout from whatever happens on SmackDown could have ripple effects on the entire WWE landscape. If The Rock were to return, it would set the stage for a dream match at WrestleMania. Conversely, if CM Punk is the surprise, it could spark one of the most compelling rivalries in recent history. On the other hand, if the focus remains internal to the bloodline, fans could witness the group's final collapse. A betrayal by Solo Sikoa, for instance, could lead to a power struggle that redefines WWE's main event scene. Fan reaction. Social media has been buzzing with reactions to the teaser. Here's what some fans had to say. "If this means The Rock vs. Roman at WrestleMania, I'm all in. At Wrestling Fanatic, CM Punk in WWE again? Stop teasing us unless it's real." At Straight Edge Dreamer, the bloodline storyline needs this kind of shakeup. Bring on the drama. At SmackDown Loyalist, the countdown to SmackDown. As the countdown to SmackDown continues, anticipation has reached a fever pitch. WWE has masterfully crafted a narrative that keeps fans guessing, and the stakes couldn't be higher for Roman Reigns' return. Will it be The Rock stepping into the ring to challenge his cousin for the title of Tribal Chief? Will a returning legend like CM Punk or Randy Orton shake the foundations of WWE? Or will the bloodline itself be the catalyst for Roman's greatest test? The answers lie just around the corner, and one thing is certain: this week's SmackDown is shaping up to be must-see TV. Adam Pearce shares photo of 3 current AEW stars, leading to intense speculation of a WWE return. Adam Pearce recently shared a photo featuring himself and 3 current AEW stars, Dax Hardwood, Cash Wheeler, and Buddy Matthews, on his social media account. This has led wrestling fans to speculate that these stars might return to WWE soon. Wheeler and Harwood, aka FTR, are former WWE stars who went by the name The Revival in WWE. They are former NXT Tag Team Champions, WWE Raw, and SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Matthews also worked for the Stamford-based promotion under the ring name Buddy Murphy and is a former WWE Cruiserweight Champion. A few hours ago, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce logged onto his X, FKA Twitter, account to share an old photo of himself training with Wheeler, Harwood, and Matthews. The photo was cropped in such a manner as if he wanted to highlight the AEW stars in his post. Fans on the internet are pointing out that this could be a subtle hint about their eventual WWE returns. Wheeler and Harwood, aka FTR, are former WWE stars who went by the name The Revival in WWE. They are former NXT Tag Team Champions, WWE Raw, and SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Matthews also worked for the Stamford-based promotion under the ring name Buddy Murphy and is a former WWE Cruiserweight Champion. A few hours ago, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce logged onto his FKA Twitter account to share an old photo of himself training with Wheeler, Harwood, and Matthews. The photo was cropped in such a manner as if he wanted to highlight the AEW stars in his post. Fans on the internet are pointing out that this could be a subtle hint about their eventual WWE returns. Furthermore, back in July, Ibu of WrestlePurists reported that Buddy Matthews re-signed with the Jacksonville-based promotion. The status and length of his new deal were not revealed, but he'll be in the promotion for the next few years. The FTR became All Elite in May 2020, making their debut on the May 27, 2020 edition of Dynamite, while Buddy Matthews joined AEW in February 2022 and made his debut on the February 23, 2022 episode of Dynamite. Adam Pearce, WWE's on-screen authority figure and behind-the-scenes producer, ignited a firestorm of speculation when he shared a photo of himself with 3 current AEW stars on social media. The post, captioned cryptically with "Old Friends, New Possibilities," sent the wrestling world into a frenzy, with fans and insiders debating the potential implications for WWE and AEW alike. Could these stars be planning a WWE return, or was Pearce simply stirring the pot? The truth behind the image remains unclear, but the speculation it has sparked is undeniable. The photo that shipped the wrestling world the now viral photo was posted on Pearce's official Instagram account late Tuesday evening. It featured him seated at a casual diner table alongside 3 of AEW's top talents, Miro, Andrade El Idolo, and Thunder Rosa. The choice of these 3 stars in particular raised eyebrows, as all of them have WWE pasts and unresolved storylines that could make a potential return to the company a monumental shift in the wrestling landscape. While Pearce didn't elaborate on the context of the meeting, fans were quick to dissect every detail of the image. From the choice of venue to the body language of each individual, the internet was abuzz with theories. Was this an informal catch-up between friends? A negotiation in plain sight? Or a deliberate tease orchestrated by Pearce himself to drum up speculation? WWE's history with Miro, Andrade, and Thunder Rosa. Miro, formerly Rusev in WWE. Miro left WWE in 2020 after an underwhelming final stretch that saw his once prominent Rusev Day gimmick fizzle out. Since joining AEW, Miro has found varying levels of success, particularly during his reign as TNT champion. However, recent inactivity in AEW has led to rumors of dissatisfaction. A WWE return could reignite his career, especially with potential feuds against stars like Gunther or Seth Rollins waiting in the wings. Andrade El Idolo. Andrade was a breakout star in NXT, holding the NXT Championship and putting on instant classics with the likes of Johnny Gargano. However, his main roster run in WWE was plagued by inconsistent booking, leading to his release in 2021. Andrade's AEW tenure has been similarly tumultuous, with injuries and sporadic appearances hindering his momentum. His ties to Charlotte Flair, one of WWE's top stars, have always fueled rumors of a potential return. Thunder Rosa. Although she never had a WWE run, Thunder Rosa's reputation as a world-class competitor precedes her. She gained mainstream recognition through her work in AEW and the NWA, where she held the Women's World Championship. Rosa's recent backstage issues in AEW have made her future with the company uncertain, and a move to WWE could offer her a fresh start in a thriving women's division. Fan reactions and theories. The reactions to Pearce's post were immediate and widespread, with hashtag WWE Return trending on Twitter within hours. Fans and wrestling pundits alike debated the significance of the meeting, offering theories that ranged from plausible to outlandish. The contract theory. Many fans speculated that the photo was evidence of WWE actively courting the 3 stars to return. With Triple H now firmly in control of WWE Creative, several talents who left the company due to poor booking under Vince McMahon have expressed interest in returning. Could this be a preliminary negotiation? The Forbidden Door theory. Others suggested that the photo might hint at a possible collaboration between WWE and AEW. While historically unlikely, recent industry trends, such as AEW working with NJPW, have shown that previously unthinkable alliances can happen. Could Pearce's meeting signal an even bigger surprise? The Troll Theory. A more cynical group of fans believed that Pearce posted the photo purely to stir the pot. Given the timing, just days before WWE's Survivor Series event, it wouldn't be the first time a wrestling figure used social media to fuel intrigue. Behind the scenes, could a WWE return happen? Several factors lend credibility to the idea that these stars might be considering a WWE comeback. 1. Triple H's influence. Since taking over WWE Creative, Triple H has worked to repair relationships with former talents. The returns of Johnny Gargano, Karrion Kross, and others demonstrate his commitment to building a roster rich in talent and history. 2. AEW's recent struggles. AEW has faced its share of challenges recently, from backstage drama to concerns about inconsistent booking. For stars like Miro, Andrade, and Rosa, the allure of WWE's global reach and stability might outweigh the creative freedom they enjoy in AEW. 3. Personal connections. Each of the three stars has ties to WWE beyond their professional careers. Miro's wife, Lana C.J. Perry, recently teased a return to wrestling. Andrade's wife, Charlotte Flair, remains one of WWE's most prominent figures. And Thunder Rosa has openly praised WWE's women's division in past interviews. Potential WWE storylines. If the meeting does lead to a WWE return for any of these stars, the possibilities for compelling storylines are endless. Miro vs. Gunther. A clash of titans for the Intercontinental Championship could redefine the title's prestige and give fans a hard-hitting rivalry. Andrade in the Bloodline saga. Andrade's charisma and in-ring ability could make him a perfect addition to ongoing stories like the Bloodline, especially as a wildcard against Roman Reigns. Thunder Rosa vs. Rhea Ripley. Rosa's arrival in WWE could set the stage for a dream match against Rhea Ripley, uniting two of the industry's most dynamic women's wrestlers. AEW's response. As the speculation continues, AEW has remained notably silent on the matter. Tony Khan, AEW's president, is known for being active on social media, yet he has refrained from addressing the situation. This silence has only fueled the rumors further, with some interpreting it as a sign that contract negotiations might already be underway. Pearce's follow-up post adding fuel to the fire. Pearce followed up his initial post with another cryptic message on Twitter. Sometimes the best stories are yet to be told. Stay tuned. The tweet has been liked and retweeted thousands of times, with fans begging for clarification. However, Pearce has offered no further details, leaving the wrestling community in suspense. Conclusion. While the true meaning behind Adam Pearce's photo remains unknown, it has succeeded in capturing the imagination of wrestling fans worldwide. Whether it's a sign of imminent WWE returns, a playful nod to old friendships, or something entirely unexpected, the intrigue it has generated speaks to the unpredictable nature of professional wrestling. As fans eagerly await the next chapter in this unfolding saga, one thing is clear: the wrestling world thrives on moments like this, where speculation and excitement collide to create unforgettable buzz.